After a 13-27 season, the Chicago Sky have decided to fire Reese Witherspoon. In the words of Vince McMahon, "You're fired!"
Reese Angel, even the most devoted fans couldn't ignore a 13-27 record and shattered team chemistry for a city that loves its sports. This wasn't just a loss, it was a gut punch, and the self-proclaimed face of women's basketball goes crazy after complete chaos hits Chicago Sky because this so-called girl was supposed to be a season of hope, but instead turned into a train wreck so wild.
Players and other teams say I wish we drafted you.
Really?
Yes. Like teams that have drafted that were above me, that the players that got drafted above, and it was nothing against their rookies that got drafted, but they were like, I wish we were teammates. I wish we drafted you.
WNBA player Teresa Weatherspoon, then there was Reese. Her on-court antics and off-court bravado left fans divided between cheering for her and shaking their heads in frustration. Legend was supposed to be the one to rebuild this broken franchise, the one who would finally give Chicago a reason to believe again. But instead of inspiring a turnaround, her leadership lit all the wrong fires, fueling locker room drama and dubious coaching decisions.
Is Angel Reese, did she just run a coach out of town, and is she running a player out of town? Their best shooter out of town? Because Kennedy Carter looks like she's ready to book it out of Chicago.
In an interview, Ree boldly asserted that she will be remembered as one of the factors contributing to the increased popularity of women's basketball in 20 years. This is about a fan base left in the ruins of shattered dreams, wondering where it all went so wrong. It's not just a story about numbers and scores.
Now, Marina Mabrey, she's already flown the coop on this team, and it was quote-unquote because of culture. Well, what happened to the culture? Who torched the culture? Who's selfish on the team that would cause the culture to melt down?
On her podcast, Reese claimed that multiple teams that passed on her in the WNBA draft had called to apologize, a claim that was widely viewed with skepticism. During a game, her controversial flagrant fall on Caitlin Clark became yet another target of criticism. Reese justified the fall as a play on the ball and even implied that referees gave Clark preferential treatment. But social media users quickly exposed her justifications, calling them embarrassing deflections and citing her actions as a key factor in the team's lack of chemistry. Video evidence also revealed a different story.
When Tyler Marsh did the press conference, he talked about Angel Reese, he talked about Cardoso, who I think is going to be a star in the WNBA, but he did not really mention Kennedy Carter at all, and that raised a lot of eyebrows.
The fact that the Chicago Sky are disintegrating more quickly than their 13-27 record indicates that a team that was once promised greatness is now drowning in dysfunction. At the heart of the mayhem is Angel Reese, whose presence has reportedly reduced the locker room to a battlefield. Their best shooter, Kennedy Carter, is already scouting new teams, scoring 17.5 points per game the previous season, but now appears more interested in Twitter polls than playbooks.
Angel Reese is now quoted as saying, "I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we're watching women's basketball is not just because of one person." She refuses to say Caitlin Clark's name. It's because of me too, and I want you to realize that.
Young players like Camila Cardoso struggled to find consistent roles, and their potential was largely overlooked, indicating that Reese's individual stats seemed more important than the team's overall success. One veteran player even made the anonymous comment that it was clear who Weatherspoon was trying to please and that it wasn't the team. When the Skies traded, the team's turmoil reached unprecedented heights. Despite avoiding direct criticism of the Sky, Marina M., a mid-season MB known for her shooting and defensive prowess, was sent to the Connecticut Sun under mysterious circumstances. Her admiration for the Sun's professional environment spoke volumes, as she highlighted how players in Connecticut could concentrate only on basketball, seemingly in reference to the chaos she left behind in Chicago.
The Chicago Sky franchise has been an absolute dumpster fire since winning the WNBA championship in 2021. Let's go through some of the names that have left. James Wade, who was the coach and GM, left in the middle of the season last year to go to the NBA.
Players' parting interviews gave a somber image of the season. Younger players bemoaned the lack of direction and clarity over fundamental team values like maintaining honk, while veterans questioned Weatherspoon's leadership. By the end of the season, court discipline was frequently lacking, and the divisions in the locker room were too obvious to ignore. Now that Weatherspoon is no longer head coach, the Sky is left to pick up the pieces of a terrible season. It's unclear if Angel Reese will continue to be a part of their plans, but for now, her time in Chicago serves as a warning about what happens when individual ambition takes precedence over team cohesion rather than a new beginning. Reese was prominently shown among the debris as the Skies descended into complete pandemonium.
Candace Parker, Emma Messman, Courtney Vandersloot, Allie Quigley, Clea Copper was traded, Azura Stevens. And then this year, after drafting Cardozo and Reese, they were competing for a playoff spot and traded Marina Mabrey, their veteran, before the Olympic break.
Carter, the top scorer in the Sky and a restricted free agent, didn't hold back when she posted on social media in January, saying, "Y'all be coaches and GMS anyway. Let's see what you think." She asked fans to choose where she should play next, and the response was swift. Although Carter isn't the only one out, some fans supported her in criticizing Chicago's corrupt leadership, while others made fun of her for airing dirty laundry like it was a Real Housewives WNBA edition episode. Last season, Marina Ma averaged 15.4 points per game, but she left in the middle of the season, citing cultural concerns. Parker, Candace after the team won the championship in 2021. Their former star left for better opportunities in Las Vegas, and Teresa Weatherspoon left after just one season as head coach after allegedly losing the locker room by playing for a small group of players. Now, Tyler Marsh is taking the opportunity to clear the air in his most recent press conference. Marsh lauded Aaliyah and mentioned Angel Reese, emphasizing her potential. Boston doppelganger Cardoso is a rising star, but his evasive remarks on Carter Crickets, referring to her as a major catalyst for the team's success the previous season, but not committing to her future, weren't exactly comforting.
However, new Sky coach Tyler Marsh was asked about whether he sees Kennedy Carter in the big part of what he's doing in the future during an appearance on the Athletic Women's Basketball Show. Quote, "In regards to Kennedy, she's a great player. She was a huge catalyst to what last year's team was able to do and accomplish, and obviously she's slated to be a free agent."
Reese isn't making things any easier, though her statistics, which average 16.8 points and 10.6 rebounds per game, show that she's a force on the court, and it's difficult to deny her reported involvement in locker room conflict. It's obvious that the Chicago Sky are trapped in freefall, and rumors of favoritism have only made the divisions worse, making teammates wonder if the team is focusing more on talent than unity. Fall Marsh's unwillingness to speak out about Carter's predicament only feeds rumors that the team is prepared to sever ties with its most productive player. However, if Carter is truly a contributing factor, as her past with the team indicates, it's difficult to determine whether the team is rebuilding around talent or simply preparing for another collapse.
But the focus thus far has been on players who we know are under contract this coming year, and that's where the communication has been thus far.
The actual kicker only a year after the Sky made it to the playoffs. All of this drama has occurred, and they are now a prime example of how not to manage a franchise. Even though Reese isn't entirely to blame for the meltdown, her ascent within a broken system isn't helping her win popularity contests. So, where does this mess end? Will Marsh clean up and start over? Will Carter depart, making the Sky even less relevant? Or will this saga continue to amuse fans for all the wrong reasons? One thing is certain, though, Chicago, the realm of memes, has officially joined the realm of Sky culture.
And I can't help but wonder, is that what happened here? Is Angel Reese and the way she wants to play, and I don't know if you've ever noticed her social media posts, but she's very me, always. Me.
In the WNBA, the Chicago Sky and Indiana Fever tell two different stories, one of dysfunction and decline, and the other of unity and resurgence. The Sky, a championship-winning club, has struggled to stay true to itself because of internal strife and bad leadership. The team was already fractured after Teresa Weatherspoon's turbulent tenure as head coach, and even though Angel Reese was talented, his divisive behavior further widened the rifts. The question now is whether the Sky can rebuild their team culture and regain their championship grit, or if they will keep losing ground.
The league sources, Weatherspoon had lost the locker room because of a culture that catered to the needs of a few players. Dear Lord.
Favoritism and poor leadership have undermined the Sky Foundation, fostering an atmosphere that values individual drama over cohesive teamwork. The hiring of Tyler Marsh as head coach offers some hope because he wants to instill discipline and teamwork. However, the question is whether the players, especially Reese, can embrace a team-first mentality. Without unity and accountability, the team runs the risk of alienating their fan base and slipping further behind in a league that demands excellence on and off the court. In sharp contrast, the Indiana Fever have become a shining example of what strong leadership and a clear vision can accomplish after years of mediocrity. The Fever have completely rebuilt their team culture. Head coach Stephanie White, general manager Amber Cox, and president Kelly Kokoff have established an atmosphere based on openness, discipline, and cooperation. Their leadership extends beyond roster choices. They have developed a structure where each player feels respected and empowered.
Obviously the players here are very experienced and they want to keep a good environment and they make sure that they kind of hold people accountable for that. So
Caitlin Clark, whose record-breaking rookie season completely changed the league's expectations for the team, is essential to the Fever's success. She is not only a gifted player, but also a transformative leader who inspires her teammates with her spirit of competition and unwavering support. She has blended in seamlessly with a team that also includes Aaliyah Boston and other celebrities. Indiana is now a sought-after destination for free agents due to the balance that Lexi Hull and Kelsey Mitchell have established between individual brilliance and collective cohesion. While the Sky problems show the effects of bad leadership and unbridled drama as the WNBA continues to expand in talent and prominence, the Fever's rise offers as a model for success. These two stories offer a fascinating analysis of the differences between the Sky. Rebuilding trust and putting unity first are necessary for redemption, since the league's players and supporters are undoubtedly keeping a close eye on these teams as their gradual ascent heralds the start of a new dynasty. Journeys will influence how women's basketball develops in the future.